Ag-week weather portion right now. You know, as the end of summer approaches, growers know for at least the row crops and the beans in particular, there's always still September. Let's take a look at what's going on. Of course, rainfall, northern plains, upper Midwest, especially northern plains, the last week or two has really changed the drought situation. Overall, not nearly as dry as it has been, although without a doubt, there are still pockets of severe drought and many areas that are still way too dry. It's just shrunk. Not as many areas are in bad shape. The weather continues to be not hot for August. We just have not seen much in the way of summer heat, and I think that will continue with a couple of exceptions of just a day or two here and there. And looking ahead into the fall, I'm not going to forecast the whole season, but September, temperature-wise anyway, will likely be near to nominally or slightly above average. Not necessarily consistently. There will be cool snaps, but I think the month of September will finish a little warmer than average. Weather pattern for the time being, the jet stream continues to meander, and although in its daily motions you kind of lose the overall track, but basically this big trough of low pressure in the east and another one in the west with a ridging in the middle will likely continue the hot weather for the Rocky Mountain states. But overall, the rest of the country is not looking particularly warm. The warmth that does spread out into the Great Plains will mostly be the western part, and I don't really look for a lot of searing heat. For example, over North Dakota, there may be a day or two up around 90, but most of this is going to be 80s for the upcoming week and a few in the 70s. Minnesota, Iowa, a lot of 70 to near 80-degree weather. Temperature-wise, it will continue to be like that with this basic shape expected to continue. Looking ahead to the next week, which is actually the Labor Day weekend area and the turnover into the Labor Day weekend, there will be a bit of an adjustment. A big wave moving down out of the Gulf of Alaska will carve out a low-pressure trough in the west, pumping up the ridge a little bit, meaning over that end of August, 1st of September, there may be a couple of warm days into the northern plains, maybe up around 90, but I don't expect anything to be terribly hot. Precipitation-wise, some scattered areas of stormy weather here the next few days in the northern plains, Great Lakes. That'll eventually just turn into a rain system as this trough of low pressure gets carved out. Otherwise, scattered storms will slowly drift down through the southern plains during the upcoming week, and significant rains are likely to move into the Pacific Northwest. As the ridge builds up, the precipitation pattern is going to become a bit more confused. Next week, there may be a few rounds of storms through the middle as this trough briefly sets up, and it's hard to place exactly where that will be, but some storms are expected. So the drought has been reduced, and with the mild weather continuing, things will likely continue to subtly improve. September, I'm not even going to venture a guess yet on precipitation, but temperature-wise, probably slightly above average.